The Dumb Things Smart People Do with Their Money? 13 Ways to Right Your Financial Wrongs by Jill Schlesinger, Chapter 1. The wake-up call. Sophia had always prided herself on being smart. A successful lawyer in her mid-30s, she had climbed the ranks in her firm with hard work, dedication, and a relentless drive for perfection. Her friends often turned to her for advice, and her colleagues admired her intellect and ambition. But despite all her success, Sophia had a hidden secret. Her finances were a mess. Every month she felt the weight of her credit card debt. And though her salary was more than enough to live comfortably, she still found herself constantly juggling bills and loans. She'd always thought that smart people don't make financial mistakes, but over the years, she had made several. One evening, after another tense conversation with her husband, Mark, about their mounting debt, Sophia realized she needed to take control of her financial future. She had heard about a book called The Dumb Things Smart People Do with Their Money, 13 Ways to Right Your Financial Wrongs by Jill Schlesinger. The title resonated with her immediately. Maybe it was time to stop being a smart person who made dumb financial choices. Maybe it was time to learn what she had been doing wrong and fix it. Chapter 2. The First Dumb Thing: Underestimating the Power of Budgeting. The first chapter of Jill Schlesinger's book felt like a punch to the gut. Sophia was shocked to read that one of the biggest mistakes smart people make with their money is not having a budget. Sophia had always prided herself on being a numbers person, yet she had never created a budget for herself or her family. She had always relied on the idea that as long as she earned a high income, she didn't need to worry about small expenses. However, Schlesinger pointed out that without a budget, it's easy to lose track of where your money is going. She explained that smart people often assume that their income will be enough to cover everything. But without a clear plan for spending and saving, they end up living paycheck to paycheck. Sophia sat down that evening and opened an Excel sheet. She realized she had no idea how much she was spending on certain things. Her daily morning coffee, nights out with friends, and even her impulse online shopping habit had added up to more than she realized. Schlesinger's advice was clear: track every expense. By doing so, she could identify where to cut back and where she could allocate more money toward savings and debt repayment. That night, Sophia and Mark had a conversation about creating a budget. Together, they decided to take charge of their finances and set clear financial goals. This marked the first step in Sophia's journey to take control of her financial future. Chapter 3. The Second Dumb Thing: Not Saving for Emergencies. The next piece of advice from Schlesinger was one that Sophia found both eye-opening and humbling. Not having an emergency fund, it hit her hard. Sophia had been living her life believing that because she had a stable job, she wouldn't need an emergency fund. If something went wrong, she thought she could just use credit or tap into her savings. But as Schlesinger pointed out, this was a risky assumption. Sophia thought about the time she had to replace her car's transmission 2 years ago. She had paid for it with her credit card, assuming she'd be able to pay it off quickly. But the balance lingered, and the interest kept piling up. If she had had an emergency fund in place, she could have avoided that stress and the financial strain that followed. That was the moment Sophia knew she needed to build an emergency fund. Schlesinger recommended setting aside at least 3 to 6 months' worth of living expenses in a high-interest savings account. Sophia immediately started setting aside a percentage of her paycheck each month toward this fund. It was hard at first, but the peace of mind it brought her was worth the sacrifice. Chapter 4. The Third Dumb Thing: Ignoring Retirement Savings. Sophia's next realization came when Schlesinger discussed the importance of retirement savings. At first, Sophia thought she had enough time to worry about retirement. She was young, had a good income, and was focused on the present. But Schlesinger stressed that the earlier you start saving for retirement, the more your money can grow through compound interest. Sophia had a 401 through her employer, but she had only been contributing the minimum amount to receive the employer match. Schlesinger made it clear that relying on the minimum contribution was another financial mistake. In order to truly build wealth, you need to maximize your retirement contributions. Feeling motivated, Sophia met with a financial advisor to discuss her retirement goals. The advisor recommended she increase her contribution to at least 15% of her income, and also open an IRA for additional tax benefits. Sophia immediately took action, adjusting her 401 contributions and setting up her IRA. She felt a sense of relief knowing she was now investing in her future. Chapter 5. The fourth dumb thing. Being afraid to talk about money. Sophia was also shocked by Schlesinger's discussion on money conversations. It turned out that even highly educated, successful people often avoid talking about money either out of embarrassment or fear. She realized that this was a huge mistake. Sophia had always been uncomfortable talking about money, even with Mark. They had conversations about bills and budgeting, but they never discussed their long-term financial goals, their fears, or how to grow their wealth together. Schlesinger pointed out that being transparent about money with your partner was essential for financial harmony. It was also crucial to have open conversations about money with family and friends to break the taboo and gain valuable insights. Inspired by Schlesinger's advice, Sophia sat down with Mark that weekend to talk about their financial goals, including retirement, investments, and how they wanted to spend their future. They also talked about how they could work together to achieve their goals. This conversation, though difficult at times, brought them closer and allowed them to work as a team. Chapter 6. The fifth dumb thing. Letting debt pile up. Sophia had always been good about paying her bills on time, but she had a credit card balance that never seemed to go away. Schlesinger explained that many smart people ignore their growing debt, hoping it will go away on its own. But in reality, carrying debt, especially high-interest debt, can be a financial nightmare. Schlesinger's advice was simple but effective. Pay off high-interest debt first, and then tackle other forms of debt systematically. She suggested creating a debt repayment strategy, such as the debt avalanche method or the debt snowball method. Sophia took action. She transferred her high-interest credit card debt to a lower-interest card and committed to paying off a specific amount each month. She also canceled unnecessary subscriptions and started cutting back on discretionary spending to free up more money for debt repayment. Slowly but surely, Sophia started to see her credit card balance go down. Chapter 7. The sixth dumb thing. Focusing only on earning, not building wealth, as Sophia continued to read. Schlesinger pointed out another mistake smart people often make. Focusing solely on earning more money without thinking about building wealth. Sophia had always thought that earning a higher salary or taking on more clients would solve her financial problems. But Schlesinger emphasized that earning money was only part of the equation. Building wealth required careful planning, saving, and investing. Sophia had to shift her mindset from just working harder to working smarter. She realized that investing in assets like real estate, stocks, and other income-generating ventures was essential to building long-term wealth. She didn't have to rely solely on her job for financial security. With this new understanding, Sophia began researching investments that aligned with her goals. She opened a brokerage account and started investing in diversified index funds. It wasn't a quick fix, but it was a step toward creating the kind of financial security she had always wanted. Chapter 8. The seventh dumb thing. Not protecting your wealth. The final mistake that Sophia addressed was not having the proper protections in place. Schlesinger highlighted the importance of having adequate insurance, including health, life, and disability insurance, to protect your financial well-being. It was something Sophia had neglected to think about in her busy career, but now she realized how crucial it was. Sophia sat down with a financial advisor to review her insurance coverage and updated her policies to ensure she was adequately protected. She also set up a will and estate plan to ensure her family was taken care of if anything happened to her. Chapter 9. A new beginning. With each of Schlesinger's lessons, Sophia began to feel empowered. She had confronted her financial mistakes and was actively taking steps to fix them. Her budget was now a regular part of her life. Her emergency fund was growing. She was more confident in her retirement planning. More importantly, she felt like she was finally in control of her financial future. Sophia's financial transformation wasn't overnight, but it was real. As she looked at her bank accounts, her credit card balances, and her investments, she saw progress. From budgeting and building an emergency fund to investing and protecting her wealth, Sophia's journey demonstrates how anyone can take control of their financial future and avoid common pitfalls. She no longer felt stressed or overwhelmed by her finances. Instead, she felt confident and capable. Sophia had learned that being smart didn't guarantee financial success. It was about being intentional, educated, and proactive. With these lessons in mind, Sophia felt ready to take on the future with a new perspective, one where money was no longer a source of stress, but a tool for creating the life she wanted.